So, Gigi, you are the subject of the new documentary, This Is Everything, Gigi Gorgeous, which recounts your life story, basically. Tell us a little bit about the film and how it came into being.
Well, the film started actually 5 or 6 years ago when I decided to transition. I was filming the process, my emotions, kind of like keeping a little video diary. And unlike my regular YouTube career and my regular YouTube setup, I wouldn't film, edit, and post to the internet. I kind of kept all of the footage secret. And, years passed and I told my team that I really would like to do a film. And YouTube actually reached out and said that they wanted to collab and do a full-length documentary. So when we were going around to pick directors, Barbara was at the top of my list. And when we finally got the chance to meet her, she said, I absolutely had time and that she was open to it. So we became a team. And from there, we just, we filmed a bunch with her. We used a lot of my footage. And we went back to my hometown. She talked to my dad. So it really didn't turn into a transitioning movie. It really turned into a life story.
Mm-hmm. Well, excuse me. I have a bit of a sore throat.
No, you're fine.
So, I mean, tell about your. I mean, you were right. That's how you.
Yes, I was on my way to the Olympics, and I was national champion in diving.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you had been having, you had started out with this YouTube, basically you became a YouTube celebrity, right? I mean, you had been doing this for a number of years. Can you talk about how that got started?
Yeah, well, I started YouTube really out of boredom in high school. It was something that my friends had seen. There were, maybe one or two makeup girls on the website, and I had really expressed interest in makeup because I hadn't really had a lot of free time. I had a lot of my life dedicated to diving. It was 6 nights a week, 3 hours a night, and it was just a lot of time. So I had a lot of free time on my hands after I decided to stop. So I posted my first YouTube video when I was 15 years old or 16 or something like that. And it kind of just kept going from there. The site kept growing and I continued to post and, kind of have a relationship with my viewers.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious about this, this moment in your life, transitioning and becoming a woman. I mean, it's such a very personal thing. Can you talk about the decision to document that on YouTube and in a film? I mean, was that difficult for you at all?
Absolutely. I think transitioning is extremely hard in general, but when you're doing it in front of, an audience and basically the world, it turns out to be a lot more on your hands. But I think it's important to know that I didn't think I was going to be sharing a lot of the footage, my video diary. It was just for, my friends, my families. When I would have a party or something with my close best friends, I'd be like, oh my God, look what I just did this weekend, or look at this milestone that I kept. I never thought that it would be released into the public. But when YouTube, told us that they wanted to show this to the capacity that they are, I just thought, you know what, might as well just put it all out there. And that's actually where we got the title, This Is Everything, because it is everything in part of my life, no, walls, no lines, no, boundaries at all. But it also is a saying that I say all the time when I like something, I'll go, oh my God, this is everything. So Barbara, watching the footage back, was like, we should just call the movie that. And it kind of stuck.
Well, I mean, the decision to put all that out there, I mean, was it, can you talk about, I mean, what, I'm trying to think of a way to ask this, ultimately why you decided to put all of that out there? I mean, what was the thinking behind that?
Ultimately, I decided to put everything out there because I feel like it is kind of a time where we need these stories. And I know from personal experience, sharing my story and creating that kind of human connection and relatability, it educates. And it really does speak to people in such a profound way, seeing someone who is a real person go through something and struggle with it and go through maybe some of the same things that they're going through, maybe not to the capacity of transitioning your gender, but realizing your dreams and, taking the steps to achieve them.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you really do. I mean, we get, deep into this, into your family and their acceptance of it. I mean, were there moments that were particularly difficult for you? I mean, given that there's a camera around?
Absolutely. I think, anything regarding my mother, who passed away when I was 19, is extremely sensitive for me. I still battle with it today, and having, my family on camera, let alone have them on camera, but to put them at such a grand, spectrum of the movie. I mean, the movie is really about my father and I, which is not what I signed up for. That's not what he signed up for. It was just literally a gift that, Barbara and her team edited it that way. And I think it really does get the message across, and it is more powerful to see a father and a daughter struggle to be able to kind of create a new life together, like a new normal.
Mhm. Absolutely. You mentioned Barbara Kopple. What about her? I mean, as a fan, I can understand why you'd want her to direct your film, but I mean, for you, what about her made you think this is someone who can tell my story?
Well, Barbara is a legend. She is literally a truly living legend. She's iconic. She is, so successful. And I had a feeling in the back of my mind that I wanted a woman to tell my story. And that might be selfish. That may be the little feminist inside of me. But I just thought, I want a woman behind this film. And when she said that she had time, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. And she just gets it. She just gets me, and she really is just all about the love, all about the true raw story. She's not really there to be a show pony for whatever. She dives into every single film she's ever done, and she'll tell you this herself. She really goes in there and gets into the nitty gritty, the ugly, the good, the bad, and she really, really does kill it. She's very talented.
And I mean, what was that like between the two of you? That dynamic. With this person who's so close to the most intimate moments of your life.
Yeah, it was definitely very intimidating to give up creative control. I am somewhat of a control freak, as I always say, with my work, with my life. I like to oversee everything. But I think with her, it's just like, you know what, she's a pro, and I don't want the movie to be done in a Gigi way. I want it to be done in a movie way, something that is greater than me, something that I'm not capable of doing. So I think giving up creative control, it was hard. And, her and I are very, very different in personalities. She's a true artist, a true filmmaker. And I think the difference between our personalities and views on life, she's experienced a lot more than I have. I think it works. I think it clashes really well.
Mm-hmm. And I can certainly understand why you would want a woman's perspective for a film like this. I don't think that's the least bit selfish.
Oh, good, good, good.
I want to talk a bit more about the social significance about this film, because, I mean, it's not as if being transgender is anything new, but it does seem in recent years it's become more of a, I don't want to say an issue, but I mean, something that people are in recent years really beginning to accept. And can you talk a bit about that and what this film can do for that?
Yeah, I think this film is coming at the perfect time. I think with transgender, the transgender term becoming that of almost a household topic of conversation, I think everybody now knows of a transgender person, if not in their personal life, in their real life, or there's, only 1 or 2 degrees of separation between that of a transgender person. And I think I have that to owe to, people like Caitlyn Jenner and Laverne Cox and Janet Mock and all these fabulous transgender women and, men out there that really show their life story and make their situation so public so everyone knows what we are and who we are, and that we're just normal people. And I think, I've heard recently that my film has been shown in schools, and I don't know if that's they're incorporating it into the curriculum or it's just a teacher's, a choice to do that. But it's such a blessing, and I feel so humbled that they're doing that, because I really do think that something like this, if not this movie in particular, needs to be shown in schools, because it is very, very, educational, and it is about me, and I'm very out there and, whatever, like with my style and my personality. But at the end of the day, it was directed by Barbara, and she saw something in the film that she wanted to show. And it really is, you know, this kind of millennial story that is all documented. None of it's fake. So I think that is something, it's something that needs to be documented in schools and shown in schools for at least kids to see. You know, they're like, school is like where a time where you're going to be, you know, absorbing so much information. Might as well show this too, because this is real life and you will experience this outside of the classroom.
Absolutely. And I mean, have you had people come up to you and talk to you about the film who have seen it, or transgender youth?
Oh God, yes. And that's one of my favorite things, actually. We just got back from the Middle East. We premiered the film in Tel Aviv because YouTube Red, where it's available, isn't available out there. So when we were invited to the film festival, I got so excited. So I, you know, was personally there. And that's one of my favorite things, seeing the crowd when they laugh, when they cry, their thoughts after. We always do a question and answer, either before or after the film. And it's really important to me to see those people, to hug those people, to hear their stories, what they're struggling with. And, you know, a lot of them bring their families. And, you know, I've spoken to fathers, I've spoken to people 50 plus who have just come out recently and watched the film, and they're just like, wow, this is something I would have loved to see when I was younger. And I can relate, because I would have loved to have a transgender role model, or somebody that I could at least look to for some guidance in my life when I was growing up. It would have made my transition so much easier. And I feel like we're finally at that point now where there are these transgender spokespeople, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, the world is a better place for people like yourself and Laverne Cox and others who bring awareness and can be role models for transgender youth. You're welcome. So with that being said, I mean, what's next for you?
Oh God, what's next? What is not next? I have a lot going on. What I'm really excited about right now, actually, is I'm the first ever transgender spokesperson for Revlon Cosmetics. And it's such an honor. You know, it's not only, you know, a partnership, and I'm not only the spokesperson, it really is an honor. And it is, you know, it's something to, you know, for the history books, I think, because I was the first transgender spokesperson for Crest in Canada a while back, a few years ago. And that was so huge to me, but to be acknowledged by a makeup company is even that much more rewarding for me. So that's what I'm excited about right now. There is tons more to come, but I can't speak of it, obviously, for contract reasons.
All right, well, I won't press you on that then. Gigi, thank you so much, and congratulations on the film, and look forward to seeing more from you.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice meeting you.
Very nice to meet you as well. Have a good day.
Have a great day.